Hi, this is Pamela, and this is my update for weeks 45 and 46 post-gastric bypass. Week 45, I was started at 211 and I ended up at 208.5. So I did make my wedding goal, the goal I had for my nephew's wedding, which was to be 210. So I exceeded that by 1.5 pounds. I was 208.5. This week I weighed in yesterday at 207. So I lost another 1.5 pounds this week, and that brings my total loss to 155 pounds. If you have not watched my videos, I started at 362 November 21st, 2011, and I am now 207, so again, that's 155 pounds off. And I was just, right before I started this video, I noticed that one of the light bulbs in my light fixture here in the kitchen was out, and so I got out my chair and I got up there and changed the light bulb. And as I was doing it, I was thinking, this is something I would not have done last year. It would have been too hard for me to get up on that chair, for one thing, and I was a lot less steady. I don't know whether it was just the weight or because I was pretty much sedentary and my muscles weren't as strong. I don't know, but I was definitely less steady last year, and I find that I'm doing a lot more things around the house and just in general that I wouldn't have done last year. So that's an NSV, I guess. So I had a great time at the wedding. My dress worked out fine. I'm going to put a picture at the end, and I would put it in the middle, but I don't really know how to do that yet, so I'm just going to stick it at the end. We had a great time. My dress was a little bit loose actually, but it worked out well. And I spent most of the evening dancing. That was great. I had a really good time, and I find that I'm wanting to be a lot more active. I'm not wanting to sit in my seat at a wedding reception and eat and drink and everything. On the other hand, I feel a little bit bad because my sister, I have 3 brothers and a sister, and it used to be when we would go to an event like that, my sister and I would sit and chat and drink and eat, and that would be how we would pass their wedding reception. I wasn't really much of a dancer, except maybe doing one slow dance with my husband or something like that. And now I don't feel like sitting anymore. So a couple times I looked over and I saw my sister watching me dance, and I thought, and I mean, she was glad for me, but I did feel a little bit bad that I wasn't sitting and keeping her company at the table. So I guess that's one of the things when you have a change of your lifestyle, it does affect others too. And but we had a good time, and I was glad to be able to keep up and dance. And I mean, it was like a whole set of music going, probably 5 or 6 songs in a row, fast dancing, and I was fine. I mean, I wasn't even breathless, which normally I would have been dying after, a half of a song. So that was good. The only other thing that I want to mention about at the wedding was I don't eat sugar, gastric bypass. I really stick very, very strictly to the sugar thing. I really try to stay away from the sugar. So I haven't eaten a piece of cake or anything sweet like that since, since November of last year. So when the wedding cake was served, it looked delicious. It was a carrot cake. And of course, I ended up with the biggest piece that they set down in front of me. At the last wedding I went to, I said, no, I don't want it. And, I didn't even allow them to serve it. But this time I thought, well, I'll leave it. And then if somebody else wants it, they can have it. So everybody's eating their cake and almost done with it. So I said, oh, I'm not going to eat this. Does anybody want it? And one of my brothers that was sitting next to me took the plate from my hand and he wasn't planning to eat it, but he took it from my hand and put it like away from me. Like, you know, oh, I'm going to take this away so you don't eat it. I cannot tell you how irritated that made me. And it shouldn't have, because I mean, I think he really had good intentions. And like when he was, because we had been talking about exercising and how he had joined a gym, and you know, so even after he did that, he gave me like a little pound. And but inside, oh my God, I wanted to kill him. It was like the food police. I did not need the food police. You know, I've lost 155 pounds. I have not eaten cake. I had no intention of eating the cake. I don't need you to take it away from me and put it out of my reach. I don't know if that bothers anybody else out there, but that kind of thing just really, oh my gosh, that just grates on my nerves so badly. But I got over it. You know, I didn't make a big deal out of it, but inside, you know, it definitely hit a nerve. I can decide what I want to eat and what I don't want to eat, and you don't need to tell me. That's kind of like my attitude. The other thing I wanted to talk about was dumping. I have not really, to my knowledge, I have not had a dumping episode yet. But the funny thing is, I'm getting into menopause and I'm having hot flashes. And so sometimes I'll eat and I'll just happen to be getting a hot flash at that time. And I'm thinking, oh, am I having a dumping syndrome, or is this a hot flash? And so it's like kind of like, well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to tell the difference because I've never had a dumping episode. So the other night I was saying that to my husband. We were going to watch TV and I had cut up an apple and a pear into slices for us to eat. And I had a couple of slices of pear and a couple of slices of apple. And so I was eating the pear and it was really sweet, and I was saying to him, oh man, this probably has a lot of natural sugar in it. Even though I only had like about 3 slices, I didn't want to eat the apple too because I was afraid it was going to be too much. So he said, well, why don't you just eat it and then you'll see how much it does take for you to have dumping, or even if you do have dumping or not. And I'm like, so you think I should actually try to make myself have a dumping episode just to see what it's going to take to, you know, how much I can push it? And he thought that was a great idea. And I was like, no, I don't think that's such a good idea. I'm going to just leave it alone. But I thought that was just kind of interesting that between the hot flashes and the dumping episodes, it might be hard to tell the difference sometimes. Or maybe the dumping would be a lot worse and I just don't know because I haven't had it yet. I guess that's, tomorrow night is the support group that I go to, my new support group, and they're going to have a plastic surgeon there to speak, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm not at that point yet, but I'm really starting to realize that it's going to be necessary for me. I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't be, that maybe I could live with whatever was left, but I think I'm really going to need some attention on my stomach and maybe my boobs too. I think maybe the rest I could live with, but we'll see. As I get to my goal, maybe I won't want to live with whatever's left, but I definitely want to listen to see what the plastic surgeon has to say tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to that. And this coming Saturday, we're going to the Renaissance Fair in Maryland. My daughter and son-in-law live in Maryland, and my younger daughter, and we're going to meet up with them. Take my older daughter, my husband and I, we're going to drive down, they're going to drive up, we're going to meet there, and we're going to have, hopefully have a good time on Saturday. And that's another thing that I wouldn't have wanted to do last year because I would have just thought, oh, it's too much walking, I don't know if there's going to be places for me to sit down and rest and that kind of thing. Now I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just looking for things to do that involve walking and being outside. I'm really looking forward to that now. This past Saturday we had a see my little crystal coffee mug. This past Saturday we had a town-wide yard sale. So I was out there for like 5 hours looking at yard sales, and I got these crystal mugs. I think they were 6 for $4. He originally offered, he originally was asking $5, and when I go to yard sales, I'm a big bargainer. So I asked him if he would take 3. Okay, sorry about that. My camera shut off. I think it must get to a certain length of time recording, and then it just shuts off, and I have to try to figure out why it does that. But to finish the story, the gentleman was asking $5 for the mugs. I asked him if he would take 3. He said no, he'd take 4, and I said sold. So I've been enjoying drinking out of the mugs. I wanted to say thank you very much to everyone who left comments, everyone who watched my video, and everyone who made comments the last 2 videos that I made. And I apologize I did not respond to the comments. I have been very busy grading. My students had a number of projects in the last 2 weeks, and it's been pretty hectic between grading and communicating with them. It takes quite a bit of time, and so I didn't get a chance to reply to all the comments on my last 2 videos, but I did read them and I appreciate them, and thank you very much. I'll try to do better. So everybody have a great week, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.